racing fans, welcome to the 11th episode of the big Group 1 racing show for the racing season of 2016/17. Now today I'm going to be previewing the Crown Oaks. It is the sixth Group 1 to be ran in the Melbourne Cup Carnival. Of course, the Melbourne Cup was an absolutely sensational race on Tuesday. Congratulations to Almerton, Lloyd Williams, Kieran McAvoy and the rest of the team for a sensational win. Of course, thoughts to Heartbreak City, of course, losing by just half a head. But we put that now behind us and move on to the Crown Oaks. So let's get into the preview. So of course the Crown Oaks is the race for 3-year-olds, ran over the 2,500 metre distance at Flemington. Of course the race will be ran on Thursday the 3rd of November at 5 p.m. local time. You can watch the race on Channel 7, racing.com and also Sky Racing 1. Now Yankee Rose, strong favourite to win this year's Oaks, backed by the punters at $1.65. Harlow Gold is the next best at $9. Eleonora is backed by the punters at $9.50. At $13 we have Sebring Dream. At $17 we have Miss Rock and Smart As You Think. Mo Queen backed by the punters at $18. Bella Sorolustra is at $35. At $61 we have My Girl Chili. At $71 we have Peking Duck. At $81 we have La Mama Hilton. Laquesti Spirit is at $151. Red Velvet is at $201. And then at $301 we have Penthouse Kitchen and also Nina Peak. So there you have it. That's the field. That's the odds for the 2016 Crown Oaks. We're now going to have a look at the field in depth. Number 1 we have Yankee Rose. Blake Shin will be aboard this horse and it's coming out of barrier 13. It's won 2 of its last 4 and it's actually placed in the other 2. And the 2 wins it had was in a 1,200 metre race at Warwick Farm and then won the Group 1 Champion Spring Stakes in the early parts of October. It is the strong favourite for this race and it goes up in weight. It comes from 47 right up to 55, but that shouldn't be a problem because it actually it won the Spring Champions Stakes with a 54 kilo weight, so it will be hard to beat, and it's the strong favourite for a reason, and it's going to be very, very hard to beat by the rest of the field. Of course, 3rd in the Cox Plate. It was a really good effort. That was its last run. It's going to be hard to beat. Number 2, we have Miss Rock, and Huey Bowman will be aboard this horse coming out of barrier 3. It wasn't a bad run last start in the Wakeful at Flemington on Derby Day. It took off down the straight, but then ended up getting caught and could only settle for 4th. The longer trip of 2,500 metres is a bit of a concern for me. I'm not really rating it at the distance, so that's the only concern for me. But it is a good horse, and its last win came in April at a race at Royal Randwick, so it hasn't had a win for a while. The distance is a bit of a query for me, but it is a good horse and it can turn it on at times. Number 3, we have Sebring Dream. Came 2nd in the Wakeful on Saturday. This horse will be ridden by James McDonald, of course, the jockey of Hartnell, who was the favourite for the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday. It's coming out of barrier 14, which is a little bit of a concern because it's a wide barrier. But I tell you what, its run in the Wakeful was quite okay. It was good down the straight to beat the rest of the field, and in the end it could only settle for 2nd because Tiamo Grace was just far too strong in the end. It should be a very strong finish from this horse. I'm rating it. I think it's top 3 potential. Number 4, we have Mo Queen coming out of barrier 5. And its last race over the 2,000 metres at Caulfield, it eased into the race and ended up getting 4th, which I thought was quite good. And also what I thought was good from this horse is that it was really working hard down the straight. It couldn't get into the top 3, but it was working so hard, and I reckon that extra distance of 500 metres will suit this horse a real good load. So, you know, backed by the punters at about $18, I reckon there's some value. I reckon it could be in the top 3, this horse. Could be definitely top 5 potential, in my opinion. Mo Queen, a little bit of a roughie for me. Number 5, we have Eleonora. Damien Oliver will be aboard this horse, as it's been in its last 5 starts. Its last run over the 2,000 metres in the same race as Mo Queen, it actually won that race. It was a very good run race, and it did settle very well last start in the race, and then it was able to get down the straight and win in the end. It should be one of the front runners early, which is going to be good for this horse because that's what it likes to do. And it should have a strong finish, in my opinion. I reckon it's going to be up there. Number 6, we have Smart As You Think, coming out of barrier 15. Won its last race on Manikato night at Moonee Valley. Came from the second half of the field to win that race, which was pretty impressive. But this is a much tougher race with a lot more quality in the race, and it might not be able to do the same as it did in its last race. So it's going to be tough, I reckon, for this horse because it's a tougher race, but I'm not going to rule it out. I think it does run well, and in its last 3 starts, it's actually come first, third, and second. So it's been in okay form. Number 7, we have Harlow Gold, and in the lead up to the Oaks, it came 5th in the 1,000 guineas on Caulfield Guineas Day at Caulfield, and then 6th in the Vars at Moonee Valley on the 22nd of October. That was, of course, Cox Plate Day. It did finish alongside the Derby winner, which was Prized Icon, on Saturday. It gave it a good crack down the straight, coming from the back end of the field. So I reckon this horse probably won't win it, but I reckon it's a good chance to place. Number 8, we have Bella Sorellastra. That's a very hard name to get right sometimes. It's a bit of a tongue twister for me. But anyway, it's coming out of barrier 1. Stephen Baster has been aboard this horse. In the Wakefield, came 10th out of the 17 horses. In my opinion, it didn't really finish off well, and it didn't really go to its potential. So it's going to be very hard to slot this horse into the top 5. I reckon it needs to lift for this one. Number 9, we have Peking Duck. Has won its last 2 starts. Came from the middle of the field to actually win its last start at Cranbourne. This is going to be a much tougher race, though. It's coming to Flemington for a Group 1 3-year-old race, which is on Melbourne Cup week. So it's going to be a much tougher race, and it's going to be interesting to see whether it can handle the pressure or not. Number 10, we have Lammer Hilton, coming out of barrier 7. Glenn Schofield takes the ride in this race. The trainer is Anthony Cummings. It came 11th out of the 17 horses in the Wakefield. It slowly builds up in races. It just sort of builds up and builds up, which is something that might be very useful for longer distance races, but I think it might cost this horse in this race. I don't think it's going to be a very good idea considering the quality in this race. So I think this race is going to be tough for this horse. Of course, it's down in the odds at $61, so the punters aren't giving it much of a shot in the Crown Oaks of 2016. Squetty Spirit is at number 11, coming out of barrier 9. And this horse has not won a race. In its last 5 races, come 4th, 2nd, 8th, 3rd and 5th. Their last race was over the 2,400 metres. It is coming to the Oaks in not too bad form, to be honest. Of course, 4th and 2nd in its last 2 starts isn't too bad, but it has to rise to the next level for this one, because Oaks is basically the next level. It's Group 1 level. It's the top level you can go. Number 12, we have Nina Peak. In its last race, it came 3rd over a 2,000 metre distance at Cranbourne. Has come 3rd in 2 of its last 5 starts. I think it needs to lift for this one. It will find it tough. Number 13, we have My Girl Chili. Won its last race in October. It came 1st over the 2,000 metre distance. Went on to run in the Wakefield and came 12th out of the 17 horses. It likes to come from behind the field going down the straight. I don't think it can do that in this race, so I have my doubts, unfortunately. Number 14, we have Red Velvet Swing. Came 2nd out of 9 horses in its last race over the 2,000 metre distance, just over that distance. Caitlin Mallion, who rode a sign in the Melbourne Cup. Congratulations to her, by the way. Didn't win, but congratulations for just getting a Melbourne Cup ride, and she'll be aboard this horse. I have my doubts about this horse though, because it came from the back to finish second in its last start, and I don't think it's going to be suitable to do that in this race, considering the quality that's in this race. Of course, the odds for this horse is right back at about $201, so very large odds. I have my doubts. And then finally we have number 15, Penthouse Kitchen, who is topping off the Oaks field for 2016. Hasn't won a race in its last 5. It has come second, third, and in its last race in the Wakeford came 14th out of the 17 horses. I have my doubts, especially after its last run. It wasn't quite clean, to be honest. Okay, time now to get straight into my tips for the 2016 Crown Oaks, which is held on the Thursday after the Melbourne Cup, of course. I can't go past Yankee Rose. I have to put Yankee Rose as my first placed horse. I think this horse is a step above the field, to be honest, and I don't think there's anyone in this race who is in good enough form or anyone really in this race that can beat this horse. This horse is coming off a sensational run. It came second in the Flight Stakes. It was expected to win the Golden Rose and the Flight Stakes, but it ended up coming 6th in the Golden Rose and then 1st in the Flight Stakes, and then had a very good win at the Champions Spring Stakes. Came over to Moonee Valley, and I thought ran very well on the Cox Plate 3rd, nearly actually caught up to Hartnell, and gave it a fair old crack. So after a couple of weeks rest, I reckon this horse is in sensational form and ready to go, and ready to win the Crown Oaks. And the only query is that it's coming to Flemington for the first time, I believe, but that shouldn't be a factor. I think this horse can run at Flemington very, very superbly. It's also got a query about whether it can run the 2,500 metres, but no horse in this race has actually won over the 2,500 metres, so it's going to be even in terms of who can run the distance. But Yankee Rose, I think, will be able to run the distance perfectly. Of course, it's already the favourite for the Melbourne Cup next year. So Yankee Rose, I think it's going to win. I think it's going to be dominant. I think Yankee Rose is going to come first in the Crown Oaks for 2016. In second place, I have number 5, Eleonora, of course, ridden by Damien Oliver, and is coming off a good win at Caulfield over the 2,000 metres. It was a great win from this horse, and I reckon it's going to be the second place horse in. Of course, it's been in okay form coming into this. In its last 4 starts, it's come. In its last 5 starts, 2 of those it's won, and another 2 it came second. So I think this horse is going to be second. It will be a very good battle for the Miners though. And then third, I have got Sebring Dream. I thought its finish to the Wakeful was quite okay. I thought it just was powering on and able to beat the rest of the field quite convincingly in the end, and it should be strong finishing again in this race. So I'm going to put Sebring Dream as third. And then the roughie of the race, I've gone number 4, Mo Queen. I really liked how it kept working in its last start down the straight, and then even though it couldn't quite get in the top 3 placings, it really did work very, very hard down the straight. And I reckon if there was an extra 500 metres, I think it might have done a bit better. I think that extra 500 metres in this Crown Oaks is going to suit it. So Mo Queen coming out of barrier 5. It's an Anthony Cummings trained horse. I reckon it's a roughie to watch out for, of course, backed by the punters at $18. And that is it for this episode of the Big Group 1 Racing Show, my Crown Oaks preview. Thank you very much for watching. Of course, don't forget to like, comment and share this video. Subscribe. I've got another episode of the Big Group 1 Racing Show, episode 12, coming out on Friday. This Friday, the 4th of November, featuring the Emirates Stakes and the Darley Classic. 2 great races to finish off the Melbourne Cup Carnival. Until then, I'm Jacob. Hope you back a winner. Bye for now.